Hello guys and welcome back to Married at First Sight Australia, and today we are going to be talking about the fifth commitment ceremony. Or is it the fourth? I'm pretty sure it's the fifth. Maybe it is the fourth. I don't even know at this point. There is so many things going on in this episode that genuinely I wasn't really sure what to make of it at first. I think I had to go away and be like, what actually are my feelings on each of the couples and how they're progressing at the moment? It's very clear that there are some very, very strong couples, and then there are some incredibly weak couples, and then there are some couples that are weak but think they're incredibly strong. I think you can all guess exactly who those are. So, without much further ado, I just want to say thank you guys very, very much for watching the videos. You guys are absolutely smashing it out there, and I'm enjoying seeing the support on the channel. If you guys are enjoying the content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to all that YouTube stuff. We have got some cool stuff on the way. I will be covering some of the new shows, especially Fortune Hotel. Unfortunately, it does come out next week whilst I am away on holiday, so I'll probably won't be able to get to it until the week after, but rest assured I will catch up on it, do not worry. So without much further ado, make sure you're subscribing and let's get into the video. So we're going to start with Ellie and Ben, and this is a couple that is full of red flags. They are potentially the worst couple in the experiment. They just seem to clash, and there doesn't seem to be much of a way forward for them. Ellie was explaining how she was feeling, and the experts were basically like, well, let's be honest, this is you being gaslit. This is how it feels to be gaslit. And she was like, rah, okay. And then when Ben was asked about how he feels about her, he went, well, she's terrific. And I was just like, oh my God, this guy is still keeping up the pretense that he is really into her, despite sitting at the dinner table in the previous episode being like, actually, we're not a match. I don't think we're good for each other. So, like, which one is it? Can you give me some type of continuity? Because every episode it seems like you're changing your mind. One day you're writing her a song. The next day you're giving her a list of all the things you hate about her. The next you're like, oh, I'm really sorry. And then the day after that you're like, actually, we're not a match. And then suddenly she's terrific. What's going on here? John was basically telling him to own his behaviour. Why did you do the list? And he was basically just like, oh, well, no matter what I do, I just can't seem to get it right. And I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? In what universe was that an okay thing to do? Like, at what point did you think, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to tell her all the things I hate about her. It's just poor. It's just poor behavior. It's not even like it's some kind of like a big scheme to make her feel really shit about herself. It was just poorly designed, because she's not walked away feeling shit about herself. She's walked away hating you. So, like, what were you expecting from that? He also is just a very emotionless person. He shows nothing when he's sitting there. He's sitting there like this, and you don't know whether he's happy, sad, about to cry, whether he's going to, like, flip his shit. You don't know what he's up to, and that is quite scary. I just don't get along with him. I don't get along with her either. I think they're both, like, not great. I still find it very hard to believe that every single thing that went wrong in their relationship never got caught on camera. That I find very, very tough to understand. And the fact that she would sit there for 2.5 hours and take a list of abuse. I'd have walked out, or I'd have screamed at him. I'd have done something. I wouldn't have sat there and taken it for 2 hours like I was watching him play. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is this? Anyway, they both decided to leave. They have now officially left the experiment. Thank fuck. Because, honestly, not my kind of deal. They needed to go. They needed to go a while back. So we're going to run through some couples as we usually do. These couples didn't really have much to say on the couch. They all pretty much said stay. And we're going to start with Jaden and Eden. Currently, she feels like there's an imbalance in her feelings towards in between their feelings, and I understand that. However, I think she's just like, I need to spend more time with him in order to grow those feelings, because they are coming and they are on their way, which I think is a bit of a green flag. It's a good plan. We've got Tristan and Cass up next. They both decided to stay as well. Things are going very, very well, and after last week's debacle, apparently he has made it up to her, which is really, really good. I'm so glad that those two are working it out, and I hope that they do continue on that path. I do just need him to take a little bit more of a firmer hand in the process, I guess. But it is what it is. We're not gonna make progress in a day. Do you know what I mean? Then we've got Jade and Ridge. Now, Jade and Ridge, they both decided to stay as well. And she opened up about how she has spoken to him about her insecurities. And he's made her feel really assured and feels really comfortable. But obviously, we're just going to have to wait and see whether that actually is going to continue. I have faith in those two. I feel like they're doing very, very well at the moment. So let's see where that heads. Up next, we have Andrea and Richard. Now, these two have been through the wars this week. They've had disagreements, they've had arguments, they've just had issues with intimacy for a couple of weeks now. And it does seem like it's stemming further back than just his initial, oh, we've been going at it like rabbits comment. Apparently, it was a little bit more than that, but it was obviously cut out of the episode. I do find it annoying when they cut significant things out of the episode that then get referenced later on. Like, just flash back to it. It's not like you haven't got the footage. Just give us an indication, because what I was seeing of that conversation was not as bad as Andrea was making it out to be. But anyway, moving on. He just feels like she doesn't love him anymore. There's no attempt at intimacy. There's no attraction from her. There's no kind of drive for her to make things better. And apparently she's said some of those things. And because obviously he was called out for making such bold statements, but then he was like, no, she said that to me. I'm not just making this up. This is something that she said to me. So I can understand why he's frustrated. I can understand why he's upset. I can understand a lot of things. However, I think what he needs to remember is this is a process and it's not always going to be easygoing. Yes, you guys had a falling out this week. I will say Andrea really sort of played down the whole sort of talking to friends and family thing. She made it seem a lot better than it actually was, which I noticed, or he was making it out to be a lot worse than it was. I don't know which one, but either way, it's uncomfortable to watch. And she just needs validation and acknowledgement of her feelings from him, and then they can move forward, I guess. I feel like this couple is going to have a little bit of a bumpy road ahead of them, but I feel like they are definitely on the right track. They're just getting derailed, or they're just stopping off at stations and then getting delayed, because they should be halfway through this experiment falling in love with each other, but this one little thing has just sown a seed of doubt and they've allowed it to grow into this massive, massive issue. So yeah, they definitely need to sort themselves out, come back, be stronger, be better, and yeah, let's move on to the next couple. We have Lucinda and Timothy. Now, immediately, they didn't even waste any time, and they immediately got into the discussions that Timothy has had this week with people, and how people are not exactly the most responsive to Timothy as a person. Jaden did start to attack his character again, and I was like, oh God, Jaden, leave it out. Now is not the time to be having a go at him. And Lucinda actually defended him a lot and was like, actually, this week has been very tough, but in the last few days we've had a lot of great progress, and nobody else should be commenting on that apart from the people who are actually in the relationship. Unless you're seeing me upset by something that he's done, you cannot tell me that this is not okay, etc., etc. And I completely agree with her. I think she has a right to privacy when it comes to her relationship and when it comes to how she is in the relationship. Tim is not a bad guy. I do not believe he is leading her on. I can see why people may think that, but obviously we're getting to see what's behind closed doors. He genuinely does care for her. He just struggles to admit it. And that's absolutely fair and valid, because not everyone can express their emotions and their feelings as easily as others. So can we just leave it out? But yeah, they are both staying, and I'm very happy that they're both staying, because they're my favourite couple in the relationship. Not because they're doing well or anything, but I feel like they're on such a journey, and they're both genuinely lovely people. Tim can get a little bit grouchy and angry and pissed off at times, but who doesn't? Do you know what I mean? Lucinda doesn't, that granted, but she's so at peace with herself that I feel like that's exactly what Timothy needs in order for him to stay grounded. And yeah, I feel like that's a good thing. Michael and Stephen. Oh God, how did this go so horrendously wrong? They've been in the experiment now for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, I don't know, something along those lines. And it just isn't working. It just isn't. Stephen is admitting that he's just not attracted to Michael. Michael's a little bit too feminine for him. They don't quite vibe on an intimacy level. And he's put in the effort and he's just feeling like it's not coming back out. Ugh, it did feel a little bit like a blindside, which I'm gonna give a red flag for. But like, Michael is willing to wait and see whether something does happen. But I think Stephen is just in the process of checking out. He's just sort of settling up his bills, and then he might be on his way. I don't feel like there's much more Michael can do that will make him want to stay any further than another week. I think it's unfortunate. It is what it is. There's not really much you can do, but yeah, that's kind of it. But that does bring us on to Lauren and Jonathan. Now, Lauren and Jonathan have been a little bit in the shitter this week. They obviously didn't participate in Friends and Family Week. They focused on repairing their fractured relationship because of the whole muzzled comment. Yeah, they're willing to put it in the past and they're willing to put it behind them, because obviously they've had a lot of discussions about that this week. And Lauren was very honest about how she feels like she has zero romantic feelings for Jonathan at the moment. There's currently nothing there, because she feels like that whole incident ruined it. She did say that she's missing banter in the relationship, and Jonathan was basically like, when you're with other people, you're this bright, vibrant, happy person, but when you're with me, it's like you're completely the opposite. There's no fun, and it sucks. And then the experts were like, well, have you tried digging deeper? Have you tried like connecting with each other on a different level? And I got where he was coming from, where the experts were coming from. But I feel like the issue with getting to know each other on a deeper level is, if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. Getting on a deeper level with someone, if you haven't got those romantic feelings for them and you don't think you can get them back, I don't know, is there a point in trying? I don't know. They both did decide to stay, which I don't know. I don't know whether I personally would have stayed in this situation. I think they're on their way out. Their flame has petered out, but only time will tell whether they actually do stick together, and I am looking forward to seeing that progress. I'm not ready to lose Lauren anytime soon, but Jonathan could go tomorrow and I don't think I would really miss him. Whereas I really would miss Lauren. I think she's very funny and entertaining. Sarah and Tim. Sarah and Tim are an interesting one, because they're staying in the competition, but they have worries that worry me. And it's the worry of, am I too much for you as a partner? Am I too much, or are you not enough for me? It's a relationship question that gets banded around quite often, and it sucks because sometimes you do connect with the people that are completely different from you. I know that from past experience, and it is one of those things that you constantly do doubt about yourself. Are they not enough for me? Like, not outgoing, vibrant, happy, not happy, but like outgoing enough for me because I'm so outgoing, or am I too outgoing for them? It's that weird balance, and that's what they're currently trying to work through. It's tough, it's rough, there's not really much you can do about it. It's just you got to make a decision. Is it okay? Is it not okay? If it's not okay, maybe it's time to end the experiment here. But for now, they are staying in the the experiment. And honestly, I'm kind of glad. I do like them. I think they are a good couple and they've got good moments. But time will tell whether they are actually a good fit. I feel like they do this on purpose. They always leave Tori and Jack till last because it's always got the most explosive moments and the most like, huh? Bits that just make you go, why would you even bother saying that? We've got Tori being called out for her aggressive behaviour at the dinner party. And she was asked sort of like, why were you getting so heated up over the whole "you have nothing" comment? Why were you getting heated up at that? And she said, and this is a direct quote, the fact that "you have nothing" is more, or is as destructive as the muzzle comment that Jack made the previous week. And when I tell you this comment went down like a lead balloon, it sunk the atmosphere. It made everyone go, oh, rah, she still doesn't get it. She still doesn't get what we've been trying to tell her this entire time. And that is highly frustrating. I'm also fairly certain, I might have to go back and check the tapes, but I'm fairly certain he said, "You'll have nothing." Not "you have nothing." You'll have nothing. It was a hypothetical. If you carry on like this, you'll have nothing in life. That kind of thing. Not "you have nothing in life." I don't think Timothy would be as nasty as to say that. I could be wrong. I might have misheard it, and Tori might have heard it correctly. But I also have a feeling that I remember seeing "you'll have nothing" in the subtitles. So, anyway, Tori, oh, she was asked why did you feel more angry at Timothy's comment than Jack's comment, and she basically went, well, I was disappointed at Jack, but I was angry at Timothy. And I was like, that's such a shit answer. That's such a beat around the bush rubbish answer. And then it was interesting because she was like, oh, I feel like because obviously it was brought up the fact that Tori's best friend felt like she was seeing a different side to Tori, and Tori went, yeah, my best friend's never actually seen the real Tori. And I was like, huh? What do you mean your best friend in the entire world, the person that you hold nearest and dearest before you came into this experiment, doesn't know the real you? Is she even your friend then? Like, what? And the fact that Jack knows the real you, that's absolute bollocks, in my opinion. It's absolute rubbish. There's no, like, big red flag. What do you mean your best friend doesn't know the real you? I would like to think all my best friends know the real me. That's just how I am with my best friends. With partners, it might be slightly different. I might be a little bit closed off at the start, but once I get there, it's fine. But my best friends, they've seen the real me. They're not going to suddenly see a completely different side of me that they've never seen before. That's just weird. And then Jack got talking and said some potentially questionable things. He said something along the lines of like he's worried that he's going to let her down. And then he mentioned that like he's 34 and single, and everyone was like, no, you're married. You are married in this experiment. You're married at first sight. And it just feels like he's planting little seeds of doubt in Tori's mind so that when he eventually does let her down, it's not going to hurt as much. Because I think he's realised that she's very into this and he is not. And that is problematic. So, that is the episode, guys. That is all 10 couples. And we're down to 9 now since Ellie and Ben have left, thank God. So let me know what you think down in the description. Do you agree with what Tori said about the "you'll have nothing" comment being worse than "muzzle your woman"? Do you agree with Lauren basically being like, "I have no romantic feelings for Jonathan"? Do you feel like there's still a spark there? What is going on? And last but not least, what do you think about Michael and Stephen? It is tough, it is not fun, but thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all of that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well, and I will see you guys in the next episode, whenever that may be. So without much further ado, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Keep on ranting. Bye now.